It's my third time covering this event, China Development Forum, continuously. This year we see unprecedented scale you just mentioned. And specifically, I want to mention that the China Development Forum is an ultimate platform for Chinese policymakers to communicate directly with Fortune 500 company CEOs and chairmen, also some Chinese private company CEOs. We all see him here in this grand hall. Yesterday it was packed out here, people talking to each other. Phenomenal atmosphere, CEOs talking to each other, journalists like me talking to CEOs, sometimes journalists talking to journalists about different ideas. Yesterday's big event was Premier Li Qiang's speech. He spoke about 30 minutes on China's consumption market, on China's willingness to work with multinationals, on China's very firm stance on holding on to globalization and encouraging multinational companies to continue to invest in China. Also, a very strong message is that China provides stability. Policy stability, stable environment, stable business opportunities, and stable consumer markets opportunities for companies, including foreign companies and Chinese companies. And foreign companies are very glad to see that, because obviously all we can see is that unstable factors. As I heard your headline stories talking about some foreign political uncertainties, some quarrels, dispute, spats going on in the world. And many of them also relates to China, just like you were talking about U.S. Trade tariffs or trade tariff threats on China. But China's policy has been very consistent, very persistent. As some foreign companies CEOs say, they, after year by year, they come back to China on CDF, talking to Chinese policymakers. You can see 80%, 90% China's policies are consistent with the previous years, and we see more opening, 10%, 20% new policies, a little bit aggressive, new reforming, very excited to see, very excited to grab the new growth opportunities. So let's hear what some of them have to say.
I'm encouraged. There's a commitment to growth. There's a commitment to improving consumption. There's a commitment to improving the living for Chinese citizens. And that gets us excited, because that lines up perfectly with what we do at Otis.
The forum has been very informative. I think it's the interaction between the government officials, ministers, and then the business community on how we can certainly benefit China and the development opportunities here, but how we can collectively benefit across the globe.
I think that China is working hard to grow the economy and attract and be clear about attracting global investment, that the economy is not becoming more closed, it's becoming more open. We have this kind of high ambition for the Chinese market.
Yeah, as you can see that those foreign company management executives are very excited to hear all the information here at the Diaoyutai State Guest House directly from Chinese policymakers. Every year, the two sessions is very clear about China's policy stance, but those CEOs want to hear directly from China's policymakers. They can shake hands with them, talk to them personally or privately in a small room. It's very important communication opportunity for them. Back to you.
Exactly. And AI, Junfeng, has been a worldwide trend, very hot issues in the world recently. So I'm very curious to know what has been discussed about AI at the forum among the so many conversations you mentioned.
Yes, AI has always been hot topics here at China Development Forum in the past few years, but this year particularly just because the DeepSeek, and that's what Premier Li Qiang mentioned in his speech. He mentioned that DeepSeek, also among other Chinese AI companies, are having a huge technology wave to Chinese companies, and says Chinese people are tech savvy, Chinese companies are tech savvy, they are ready to embrace the next generation of technology led by new quality productive forces, featuring AI, featuring robotics, humanoids, eVTOL, or the so-called low-altitude economy, commercial aerospace, there are many aspects Chinese technologies are now emerging in the world. But some China watchers or academics say they're not surprised at the sudden emergence of Chinese technologies such as DeepSeek, AI, robotics, Unitree, because if you watch China for 20, 30 years, then you would see that China's always been investing heavily from grassroots companies, small entrepreneurs, to public companies, big state firms, to the government-backed R&D. So it's not a surprise that China can come up with such a groundbreaking technologies. And many global companies, I say, they also embrace AI technology. The shipping company I just talked to in this interview room of CGTN says shipping companies are now using AI to manage automated ports where you no longer see people because those ports are quite dangerous, the containers are very heavy. Some advertising companies are using AI to analyze consumer behavior and customize solutions to their customers. So it's very interesting. Let's hear what some companies, global companies, are embracing AI in their business line.
In AI, in terms of fundamentally different and cheaper ways of delivering these very, very powerful outcomes. We see in the new economy sectors around EVs, battery technology, clean tech or climate change related technologies, where China has really taken a leading edge, taken the leading positions in terms of developing new technologies. This is really good for the world.
We see with the DeepSeek innovation only a couple of months ago that through intelligence you can just jump to the next level. So I'm very, very excited about the opportunities that artificial intelligence gives our customers and gives us.
Right. I'll tell you a very interesting thing with Mercedes executive, because I also talked to him briefly. He was surrounded by so many journalists, so I jumped out with an interesting question. I say, I have been driving Mercedes for a number of years, but my family is trying to persuade me to switch to a Chinese EV, a smart SUVs at the same price with a better, larger room and more technology embedded. Well, the Mercedes executive chairman says to me that his kind of advertising says we are going to roll out a series of EV SUVs in China in the upcoming Shanghai Auto Show in a few weeks with a lot of AI features. So please stay with Mercedes. I think I look forward to it. So everyone is on EV. The game, the competition is on. So we'll see what happens. Thank you. I have a very exciting experience in here at China Development Forum at Delta State Guest House. Back to you.
Good for you. Thank you very